we're off to a rip-roaring start. Whatever, I'm not too worried about it. This is not based on personal experience. Hi, it's Bargain Counter Argument here on YouTube. Also available on Instagram, also known as Sock Marionette. I just recorded about an hour ago. I recorded my follow-up video to my first reading vlog where I talked about some of my thoughts and feelings and reflections about that. Well, that first reading vlog was something I kind of decided to do spur of the moment because I realized I had 4 library books due in 3 days. And so I tried to read as many of them as I could, and that's in the vlog, which I will link in the description. I'll also link the follow-up video that I just did. Well, after I finished recording that, I checked my email and found out I have 3 books that are due in 2 days. Today is Thursday, January 23rd, and they're due on Saturday, January 25th. Now, guess I'm going to do another reader versus library due dates vlog because that's what I did last time, and I'm have the opportunity, so why not? So these are the books that are due. We have, and a couple of them I've actually already read a few pages in, but I haven't gotten a huge start on them. We have Run by Blake Crouch. This was one of his earlier works. This is published in 2011 originally. 5 days ago, the epidemic of rage began. 4 days ago, the rash of senseless murders swept the nation. 3 days ago, the president addressed the country and begged for peace, even as the murders increased tenfold. I try to get this so that you're not blinded by my glasses. That scene in Ghostbusters when Egon's glasses, never mind. 2 days ago, the killers began to mobilize. 1 day ago, the power went out. And tonight, the killers are reading the names of those to be killed over the emergency broadcast system. I don't think that's what it was designed for. Jack Coldclaw is listening over the battery-powered radio on his kitchen table in Albuquerque, and he just heard his name. People are coming to his house to kill him, his wife, his daughter, and his son. He has no idea what's happening or why, but the time for questions is long past. His only chance is to run. Following an ordinary family on a desperate race through an America that's destroying itself, Run is a terrifying, brutally stripped-down thriller from master storyteller Blake Crouch. Okay, I've enjoyed his work in the past, so hopefully this is no exception. And now for something completely different. A Bloom in Winter by J.R. Ward. Now, this is part of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, which is like a whole thing, and I've always been intrigued by it. I think I read one book, probably 15 years or so ago from that series. I'm not sure. I've read the first about 10% of the book. I'm on page 32, and so far I've actually managed okay to follow things, and I've managed to follow things okay. In word order, and I think that there are allusions to previous adventures that these characters have had, which I'm interested to read, but I'm following it okay. Since the world is so complicated, there's a glossary of terms and proper nouns, which goes on for several pages. This came out in 2024. It's a new book, and it is about... Oh, I'm not 10% of the way through because it's 450 pages. I forgot to mention that Run by Blake Crouch is 320 pages. Okay. And then the other one, still something completely different from those two, The Stars Too Fondly by Emily Hamilton. The Stars Too Fondly. And okay, this is one of those deals where the library barcode sticker is covering up part of the back jacket copy. So here's the thing. Cleo and her redacted steal this spaceship, okay? They just wanted to know why 20 years ago the entire Providence 1 crew vanished without a trace. But then the stupid dark matter engine started all on its own, and now these 420-somethings are en route to Proxima Centauri b unable to turn around and being harangued by a snarky hologram that has the face and attitude of the ship's missing captain, Billy. It's Billy with an IE, so. Cleo has dreamed of being an astronaut all her life, and Earth is kind of a lost cause at this point, so this should be one of those blessings in disguise that people talk about. But as the ship gets deeper into space, the laws of physics start twisting. Old mysteries come crawling back to life, and Leo's initially combative relationship with Billy turns into something deeper and more desperate than either woman is prepared for. Lying somewhere in the subspace between science fiction and sapphic rom-com, The Stars Too Fondly is a soaring near-future adventure about dark matter and alternate dimensions, leaving home and finding family, and the galaxy-saving power of letting yourself love and be loved. And it has positive blurbs from Sarah Beth Durst, who says, heart-pounding, heartwarming, and flat-out fantastic. And KB Wagers, Wagers, achingly beautiful and hilariously funny. Jesse Mahalik, a sparkling debut. I adored every word. Amelia Posanza, as addictive as it is funny and as interstellar as it is human. And Hannah Ferguson, an utter delight. So people are liking this. This is a new release. I think 2024, and it is 320 pages as well. So I actually don't have a lot of stuff going on over the next couple of days. I pretty much have done the stuff I needed to do this week. And so the other thing is, in a pinch, because it is a weekend, I can probably, as long as I return these before they open on Monday, I'll be fine. I mean, obviously, I'd like to get them back sooner so that more people can enjoy them, but I do have that going for me. But I'd like to try to get them finished before close of business on Saturday. So stay tuned to see how that goes. Okay, it's like 10 minutes later, and I realize we're off to a rip-roaring start because I forgot to read the summary for the Black Dagger Brotherhood novel, A Bloom in Winter. Oopsie. Said how long it was, when it was published. For his entire life, and especially during his century in the prison camp, Apex never believed the bonded male vampire myths. But when he crossed paths with a sexy wolven, the assassin was done being a lone wolf himself. Tragically, fate had other plans for them. And in the decades since, the world has held little interest and even less warmth for him. I don't know if they mean wolven or Apex, because from what I've seen so far, I think it's alternating POV. He has never forgotten the male, however. Okay, so that's Apex. Even after all this time, Callum remains haunted by the horrible abduction that destroyed him down to his marrow those many years ago. Living as a loner, drifting from place to place, the wolven has finally returned to upstate New York, and he is not expecting to see the vampire who has always been on his mind. You were always on my mind. Okay, never mind. As a plot to overthrow the king threatens the brothers down in Caldwell, both king and brothers are capitalized. I don't know who the king is, but the brothers are the Black Dagger Brotherhood. Brothers in arms rather than brothers in blood. Okay, so as a plot to overthrow the king threatens the brothers down in Caldwell, Apex and Callum find themselves face to face and caught up in a deadly, treasonous plot. Can two lonely, lost souls find a way back to each other, or will destiny once again condemn their hearts to cold isolation? Okay, so this is like dark, paranormal, male. This is like all the things. This is why I decided to go ahead and read this book, even though it's, I don't know, volume 57 or whatever, the Black Dagger Brotherhood. Anyway, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about how I plan to prioritize these. Now, I'd already started reading this one, but this kind of book is something that I really prefer to read at night. Not for any salacious reason. I just feel like the darkness outside and the darkness of this story kind of complement each other. So, that I started it last night or the night before last, and so I'll continue it after dark. I read the first few pages of this one this morning and was got into it. So I'll probably continue with that and then have this as a daytime palate cleanser because it's the science fiction sapphic rom-com as was described on the back. And so yeah, I think I'll go with this pulse pounding thriller. This sounds like romantic suspense kind of adventure, paranormal, etc. for the evening. And and then this one can be my my happy fun time daytime reading for tomorrow. I'm hoping it's already about can't see the clock from here. It's like about 12:30 in the afternoon. I haven't had lunch yet, but again, I don't really have anything I need to be doing over the next couple of days. So yeah, I can get right into it. Further updates as events warrant. Okay, it's later that same day, Thursday, January 23rd. January 23rd. And it's about 4:20 in the afternoon. So when I recorded that was about 4 hours ago. And my makeup's kind of falling apart. And I have the sniffles and I have like my eyes are watering a lot. So, whatever. I'm not too worried about it. Behind me, you can see my Valentine's Day tree. Until about 24 hours ago, it was a Christmas tree. Now it's a Valentine's Day tree. It's my way of telling you that I don't have pets or children. Okay, so yeah, so it's been about 4 hours, and I'm continuing to read Run by Blake Crouch. And oh yeah, and I realized I needed a candle. I pair books and scented candles on Instagram, so I wanted to get a candle to enjoy with this book, and this is what I ended up with. This is what I chose. It is Big Sky from Travel Out West, Big Sky from DW Home Candles. This book does not take place in Montana, but it does take place kind of in that south of Montana by quite a bit. They start in Albuquerque and they're moving north. And this is the one where there's been like this literal outburst, like this almost plague of violence, and they're running away from it. It's interesting. It's very fast paced. It's horror and there's a fair amount of gore. So, if you don't like to read about that, you're not going to like this book. Yeah, so did I say I'm about a third of the way through? I'm about a third of the way through. And it's kind of claustrophobic. And there goes the cross country team again. This time it's the boys from Xavier instead of the girls from Mercy. Yeah. I could do this with the curtains closed, but I gotta see what's going on. And I'm still young enough that twitching the curtain back to look feels a little bit strange. I lie. Yeah, whatever. I want to spy on the neighborhood. Okay. Anyway, so bicyclist. I really do need the light. Okay. And it's kind of claustrophobic because Jack, it's about a nuclear family. We've got Jack, who's married to Dee, and they have 2 children, Cole and Naomi. I almost said Natalie. Naomi is the older, she's 14, and Cole, I think, based on the way he's written, I think he's like 4, but I think he's actually supposed to be more like 7 or 8, but they're going through a very traumatic time, so he can't be expected to view every circumstance with nuance and responsibility because he's a kid and it's traumatizing. But except for the first few pages, this is all taking place from Jack's point of view, and I kind of get the impression that maybe Blake Crouch was going through a little something when he wrote this, because it's like all of this stuff where Jack is he tells his wife he sees something horrible because it's a horrible circumstance, and she asks him what it is, and he says he doesn't want to tell her, and she says, "Don't shut me out like this. You've always shut me out." And he says, "Well, I don't want you to have to live with the images in my head." And then he shuts her out. He makes that choice for her, and this is, I wouldn't say it's necessarily presented in a positive light or a negative light. It's simply presented. And then later on, he's in these circumstances where he's right. His kid is wrong. His son is wrong. He is right. Jack is right, and Cole is wrong. But again, Cole's a little kid, not sure exactly how old, but he just hauls off and hits his kid. And this is presented as just like, okay, he's just got to do this. And it's just like, a lot of times when I read these kinds of apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic scenarios, I think this is just like some kind of fantasy of like somebody who's frustrated with their life, who can only imagine some sense of mastery and control if everything else is falling apart around them. And suddenly, oh, okay, now I have permission to shut my wife out, and it really is for her own good. Or now I have permission to hit my kid, and it really is justified. And so that's a little strange. I mean, Blake Crouch wrote this in 2011. It has like 50-year-old divorced dad energy, but he was not divorced. He was a dad, I believe, in 2011. He wasn't divorced at the time, and he was only like in his early 30s. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but it's like some sort of first person shooter fantasy kind of a deal. I don't know. Another bicyclist. Oh, sorry. There's also a red-tailed hawk making lazy circles in the sky. But yeah. Anyway, that's the doings in my neighborhood, and I know that's why people tune in. They want to know about that kind of neighborhood stuff. So I mean, it's very fast paced, and I'm kind of into it, but at the same time, I have qualms, which pretty much describes like 100% of my life. That was the school bus. I don't even know what that was. Yeah, that's why you're here. You want to know what's happening in suburban Connecticut. And also books. Well, nobody's running rampant on a rampage of violence in suburban Connecticut, at least not yet. I got my eye on that poodle, though. Okay, well, I am kind of on a roll here, so I might not check in until I'm finished. So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Okay, it's 6:30. I've taken to my bed. Have a couple of bears. I have medical attention is close at hand for my potential cold. She's a very serious looking nurse. She has, yeah, she's prescribed a giant glass of Merlot for my throat. I don't know what her medical qualifications are, but I actually haven't started this yet, and I already feel loopy. I don't know if I'm going to finish the wine or if the wine's going to finish me. Well, I finished Run by Blake Crouch, and it just kind of continued on from there. It was just more running, more shooting, more killing, more violence. And the character in this, the main character, Jack, is a philosophy professor. But honestly, he could be a patent attorney, uh, or I don't know, a chemist who makes house paint. He could be any one of a number of kind of middle class, upper middle class professions, and it really wouldn't have had much impact on the plot. The fact that his wife is a physician has more impact on the plot than his being a philosophy professor, which I don't know if that's supposed to be the point. Anyway, it's not my favorite Blake Crouch book. Not even close. It was interesting from the standpoint of, like I was talking about, the divorced dad energy and this idea that in order to, really be in touch with yourself, all of civilization has to fall apart. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I did finish it. I'm not sorry that I finished it, but it didn't really take me very long either, so, there is that. Now that it's evening, and I have my Merlot. Yeah, that's going to be nice on my throat. But for obvious reasons, this is going to be the last clip I record tonight. It's on to A Bloom in Winter by J.R. Ward from the Black Dagger Brotherhood. I talked about this earlier, and I'm a little less than 10% of the way in. So far, I'm enjoying it. And I selected a candle to go with it, and it is A Vampire by D.W. Home. It smells kind of like cherries, like particularly rich Merlot. Hang on. So now I'm gonna set this bad boy on fire. Ooh yeah. Like the vampire goes into the sunlight and catches fire. I don't know if you can tell, but this black jar is actually very glittery. Super pretty. So, yeah. 1 book down, 2 to go. It's about 9 o'clock, Friday morning, January 24th, and I left off yesterday at 6:30 in the evening, just settling in with a giant glass of wine, a sore throat, and A Bloom in Winter by J.R. Ward. Now, I did not finish the glass of wine. I drank about half of it over 2 hours. So it was about 8:30. I was really, really determined to get halfway through the book, and I did. I barely made it. Nothing wrong with the book. Just I was very tired. And so, yeah, I made it to 8:30, read half the book, and then I went to sleep until 4 o'clock in the morning. So 7.5 hours I got, which is pretty good for me. So I'm enjoying it. I do get a little confused. The pacing is a little strange, and I don't know if that's true of the Black Dagger Brotherhood series in general, or if it's just this book, but it just seems like nothing happened for the first quarter of the book or so. I mean, things happened and there was background, and that was helpful, but they spent probably, 10% of the book kind of around in here, like probably a quarter to a third of the way through, just kind of hanging around the house. And it wasn't very compelling. And then suddenly all kinds of things started happening. So that's where I had to leave it off because I was just really, really sleepy. So yeah, I'm definitely going to finish it. Probably will read more from that series if I get around to it. More on that later because that is my nighttime reading, because it's, vampires and shifters, and there's a war, and an internal war. And yeah, that's really something I prefer to read at night. So what I did this morning, I haven't done too much because I only read for about an hour, and then it was like time to get breakfast and hang out and do some other stuff that needed to be done. The Stars Too Fondly. This is the science fiction lesbian rom-com. Oh, sapphic rom-com. And one of them's a hologram. She's a hologram. She's not. And I'm enjoying it so far. It's one of those books where you start to read it and you're like, oh, the science really doesn't science. It's not making sense. What? Huh? Ooh, where? When? And then you realize that you're not supposed to turn off your brain exactly. You're supposed to turn off one part of your brain and engage another part of your brain. Because if you're thinking at it like, does this work from a science standpoint or a government standpoint or a security standpoint, then that's going to keep you from enjoying what it's really about. It's kind of like watching Star Trek that way. Yeah, the science doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but you're not supposed to turn off your brain. You're just supposed to disengage one part, engage the other part, and, there you go. So I'm enjoying it like that. So this is fun. Like I said, I'm a quarter of the way through. I'm at page 80 out of 320. You can't get much more of a quarter of a way through a 320-page book than 80 pages. So that's where I stand on that. My plans for today, Let's see. Mama Needs to Read Romance. B is having her Friday morning live sprints, and she's interviewing an author, I believe, and she's going to be sharing people's pictures of their library Shelfie Appreciation Day. So that's going to be fun. And I'm also going to work on one of my former Christmas trees. Okay, hopefully I can move this without being too messed up. I'm in my I'm in my bedroom right now, and this is the tree I have in my bedroom. Oh my gosh. And it was a Christmas tree, and now it's a Valentine's Day tree. And I did that Wednesday during my own productivity live sprints, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until it's Eastern Daylight Time, but right now it's standard. And that's here on Bargain Counter Argument. That's public and available to all. So yeah, so I'm have another smaller tree in my sitting room next door, which I took the Christmas decorations off, and on the advice of my mother, who made the suggestion that I turn it into a food tree, because we have lots of food and food related ornaments. I have some, we have some, they're around. And so she's like, why don't you do a food tree? And I was like, yeah, okay. Although I will say that on this tree, I do have two of the food ornaments. I have a champagne bottle ornament and a box of chocolates ornament, because it's a Valentine's Day tree and box of chocolates and some champagne. That's kind of classic. I think we might have a strawberry ornament. If I run into that, I'll put it with the champagne and the chocolates, because strawberries are well known to be the sexiest of fruits. I thought it was pears, but it's actually strawberries, although I do have a pear ornament on the tree. So anyway, so that's the plan for today. I'd like to get fairly far along on this, maybe even finish it, possibly. It is due tomorrow, and then tonight make more progress in this and probably finish it as well. So that's the plan, and I will check in with you as Shanana Jinx and Sue. I also might record a short video, or I might take a break from recording anything but the vlog, because I've been going flat out for a little too long now, and I think these cold-like symptoms are maybe a sign that my body is saying, give it a rest. Just give it a rest. Okay. Either way, I'll let you know. Okay, it's just a couple of minutes later, and I'm back because I forgot to give you my candle notes for the Stars Too Fondly. I picked this Aquarius candle because stars and Aquarius is a zodiac sign that is, I think, the one that we're in right now in late January. Cusp, maybe, between Capricorn and Aquarius. I don't know. I'm not really much of an astronomy person. However, not a whole lot of candles smell like outer space, because that, as far as I know, doesn't smell like anything. This is not based on personal experience. So I decided that star sign candle, is that zodiac star sign? Anyway, I decided Aquarius would be a nice fit, and it is a very, very pleasant candle. It's from the Bookish box, and I didn't get it directly from Bookish box. I got it on a resale site. I think it was Macari or Poshmark or something. It's very nice. It kind of smells like applewood, and it is actually, I don't know if you can see, but it is a wood wick. I go back and forth on whether or not I like wood wicks. It really depends on my mood. Sometimes the sort of crackling sound that some wood wicks make sounds very comforting and cozy, and other times I find it kind of alarming, and I'm constantly looking around like, what caught fire? What caught? Oh, it's my candle. What caught fire? What caught? Oh, it's my candle. This one actually doesn't make a whole lot of noise, but anyway, it's a really, really pleasant smelling candle, and, it doesn't smell like outer space, but then, like I said, I don't think anything does, as far as I know. Okay, so that was just the candle note, and now I have some stuff I want to do, and yeah, I will get back to you. Tiara? Okay, it's moving on toward 4:30, still Friday, January 24th, and I just finished The Stars Too Fondly, And just in case you were wondering about the title, it's from a poem by Sarah Williams, which is in the front of the book. If you want to read the whole thing, if you want to read the whole thing. Though my soul may set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. That's Sarah Williams, the old astronomer to his pupil. And the other quotes on here, one's from Sappho and one's from Walt Whitman when I heard the learned astronomer. I always want to say learned. It's got a little apostrophe to tell you that's not how you pronounce it. Okay, so my energy level, is a little tiara check there. My energy level continues to kind of be all over the place. I'm just still kind of tired. Didn't get any more done on the food tree, but you know, as I said, I have the Valentine's tree to enjoy, so that's okay for now. And I was really focused on getting this book finished. So that's, of the 3 books that are due tomorrow, I have finished 2.5 of them. And I want to dive back into The Bloom in Winter, which I keep calling it The Bloom in Midwinter. Don't know what that's about. Anyway, I want to get back into The Bloom in Winter by J.R. Ward. And, but I don't want to jump into it right away. I just, it's a very different kind of book than this, and I want to have a chance to decompress and adjust. So I think probably in about an hour or so, I'm going to be ready to dive back into that, and I will update you when the time comes. Okay, it's like 2.5 hours later. I took a break, did a little bit of stuff during that time, but not a lot because it's Friday night at like 6 p.m. So clearly, if I want to honor the wishes of high school me or college me or working me or graduate school me or current me, that means I should be exactly where I am. In bed, wearing a tiara, ready to delve back into a gritty vampire romance. I also have, just in case, to make sure that I can stay awake long enough to finish this book, which I'm hoping to do so I can get all of these books back to the library tomorrow, I have the remains of the Diet Cola I have been nursing all day long. And of course, I am going to be relighting Vampire. Child of the Night. Okay, so it's still Friday, January 24th, and it's about 7:45 p.m. And I just finished A Bloom in Winter by J.R. Ward, and I liked it. The pacing was a little off, like I said. It seemed like things were kind of slow to start and rushed to finish. The middle part was good, but I mean, I liked it overall. And the thing is the writing style, pacing issues aside, the writing style is really quite odd. And this is more of an observation than a complaint. It was very odd, and it made me really, really curious because the first Black Dagger Brotherhood novel was, I think, published in 2005. And I'm really, really curious to read that, partially to enjoy more of this world, and partially because I'm really wondering if her writing style is like this in 2024, what was it like 19 years ago? And I'm not sure if her writing style is odd now because she has the confidence to pull it off and the clout, or it was even stranger in the beginning. I have no idea. I mean, obviously, whatever she was doing 19 years ago resonated with people. Otherwise, there wouldn't be like, what, 30, 40 of these books out? Anyway, so I'm going to go look for the way these books are listed. I'm not sure if Dark Lover or The Beloved is the first. I think Dark Lover is probably the first, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll look into it and find out and see if I can find that book because, yeah, I'm really, really curious now, partially about the Black Dagger Brotherhood and mostly about, like, the writing style. So that is where I stand on that. So that's done. I actually finished all 3 books, and I will be taking them back to the library tomorrow and probably, hopefully, doing a wrap up. I know last time I kind of did it as a separate video a couple of weeks later, but you know, maybe this time I can do it in a more timely fashion and have it be included in this video. So, yeah, so the reading is done, but the vlog will continue. More than likely. Okay, I hope you can hear me. I'm at the library to return my books. That is the Shakespeare Garden, which this time of year does not look all that impressive. This is its necessary dormant period. And I can relate. Let's just put it that way. I can relate. Now we're going to walk over to the book return. Oh, somebody wants to go to New Zealand. Awesome. That book. There we go. That was not mine, but, you know, I like to take an interest. A couple of other books that I used for my 12 recommendations video. Okay. And the other two books are going back to a different library. Okay, I'm not going to lie, it's several days later. It's Wednesday, the 29th of January. I think I last spoke to you on Friday night, on the 24th? Yeah, the 24th Friday night, but I had just finished reading the books that were due on Saturday. I did not return them on Saturday, I was just too tired. I did get them back on Sunday before the library opened, so they all got returned on time. Including one that I found out Saturday morning. I was reminded that it was due on Monday the 27th. I got that read. It was Time to Shine by Rachel Reed. Really liked it here. We'll put romance, Grumpy Sunshine, and a fair amount of Christmas content. Really, really liked it. And I eventually finished The Food Tree, although not until Monday, I think, that I finally finished that. I will do a, I mean, I'm sitting next to it now. I don't know what you can see. Let's see, looking at the monitor. I think you can see this pear and perhaps this platter of sushi. There's an eggplant ornament, which I have to tell you, there was some debate that I had with myself over whether this went on the food tree or the Valentine's Day tree. If you know, you know. Or you can probably guess. I think that this reading vlog was more organized than the last one because I had done it before, so I had a better feel for what I was doing. But it was also, I was very tired during like pretty much the whole thing, and I ended up having to take days off, which is, like I said, why I'm waiting until almost a week later to film the outro. So it's low energy flailing as opposed to high energy flailing. So hopefully you like that. And if you do, like, comment, subscribe, or don't. I'm not the boss of you. Yeah, so have a great day or night.